But as a matter of fact, I'll let you say it. How do they relate to people of African or Afro-Palestinian origin?
In the West Bank?
Yeah.
It's a long story, so there is...
Hello and welcome back to the page. I am your host, Ashriel Moore, the ambassador of the African Diaspora Collective right here in Israel. Look, I'm sure you all remember the video that we did just a few weeks ago responding to Heba Talks, or Heba Speaks on TikTok, when she was talking about, she was actually criticizing and patronizing a group of African Americans who she claimed had come with her and a group of others to the Palestinian territory from America to visit, to see the experiences on the ground, and hopefully to become allies. But something went wrong along this trip, where at a point, according to Heba Talks, the group of African Americans started kind of going to the side to discuss amongst themselves experiences that they have been experiencing apparently while they were on this trip. And one of the things that Heba Talks was saying was that she kept hearing about how racist Palestinians were, and that really irked her soul.
Some people in the group were too busy victimizing themselves and taking out their anger on all the wrong people to sit with the reality that in modern day, there are some people that are more oppressed than them. One person in particular was incredibly problematic, especially considering she was one of the group leads who was hosting private conversations exclusively for the 7 Black people in the group, which under almost any other circumstances I would encourage. I encourage Black people to create safe spaces for themselves to discuss racial issues among themselves. But the issue is that the only comments I heard come out of this person's mouth about Palestine and Palestinians were negative, were about how racist we are.
Because as far as she's concerned, even if that was their experience, they don't have the right to criticize or say anything about the experiences they're having. They should say, thank you for bringing us on this trip, and be quiet and go back home and be an ally. And that's it, and let that be the end of it. But for them to have something to say about the experiences that they have, I mean, she was super critical. She even went so far as to say that they are the bad apples in the African American community. And if it wasn't for her experiences or for her working so much amongst the African Americans, then that would have actually put her off.
If I was somebody else, if I haven't already done so much work for the Black community, if I didn't already have a deep understanding of racial dynamics, this entire experience might have pushed me away from the Black community. But I know that these rotten tomatoes in the community do not represent the Black community as a whole.
What would have put her off? The fact that they were talking about experiences that they were having? Besides the fact that I don't believe that this trip actually took place, because I have been since then searching and talking and reaching out to everybody who I know, Afro-Palestinians, others, organizations that I know bring African Americans to this area, to see, was there a group like this who had come during the period of time that Heba Talks was claiming that they had come. Nobody have any information. There's no response online about this. Nobody has said anything in that regard, and that's very strange to me. But what I have for you today is super interesting, because Heba was also talking about the fact that these African Americans had come and they were applying these Western lens to what's taking place in the Palestinian territory, which is very much different. And, there's not any talk about racism and discrimination. Yeah, she was saying there is anti-Blackness, but it's super different, totally different from what people are experiencing in other places or what they know to be their experiences. But look, I have been involved with the Afro-Palestinian community, specifically in Jericho, for a long time. They're like brothers and sisters of mine. And I had a conversation with one of my sisters not too long ago, who was giving me an on-the-grounds update about what was taking place since the beginning of this war between Israel and Hamas, and how it has affected people effectively in Judea and Samaria, the West Bank, and what has been the effect mainly on the Afro-Palestinian community in Jericho and in the surrounding cities. So let's listen to that first, and then we'll come back and we'll discuss it.
As a matter of fact, I'll let you say it. How do they relate to people of African or Afro-Palestinian origin?
In the West Bank?
Yeah.
It's a long story. So there's a Palestinians who like from the cities and villages, and there's refugees, and there's the returns who came back from outside. So we're not considered under none of these lists, because there's an Afro-Palestinian who live in Jericho, and any other cities in West Bank, but the majority who lives in Jericho. So we're not considered for them, like, what you're doing over here, where you all came from. So if any aid, if any like help came to the community, we don't reach none of it. Like, it's not for us. It's not for, we have to struggle to get something, and we don't get it. Under that, we don't have the UN card, which is a card makes you like give the aid, give the food from the United Nations, and we're not refugees. We can't get that.
They're raising funds, right? They're raising funds for Palestinian people,
none of
whatever.
None of it. None of it. We are 4 villages. None of it. We didn't get none of it. None at all.
And the fact that you identify as Afro-Palestinian, how does Palestinian people relate to you?
They just don't consider that we are Afro-Palestinian. We don't even, we can't even say that, because it's not making sense for them. Because, like, okay, let me get that clear. For me, I'm an Afro-Palestinian. For them, I'm just Palestinian with the ID, and we came from, even some people, they be saying that we are slaves, came from outside the country. And we end up being here. So this is the idea that they have in their minds. It's not that we've been here way before they've been here, way before. And I want to go through that, because it's like a long story.
The experiences that you've had since, let's say, October 7th, right? Because I mean, you know, you're my sister. You're my sister,
Yeah.
and we talk. You know what I mean? And I know that you've been having some experiences, and I want you to kind of share a little bit of what the experience has been since October 7th.
It's hard. It's hard. You can't be rejected from all over, or everybody around you. We rejected from the Israelis. We rejected from Palestinians. We rejected from everybody. Most of the people in my city, they work in settlements around. They work in tourism. They can't really bring money, or they just they don't have any solution to just support their families. So being an Palestinian, you're not getting the aid from the Palestinian side, and the Israeli side, for them, you are a Palestinian. You are a Palestinian. You live in a Palestinian land.
You don't get anything from over here. You don't get anything from over there.
Yes, it's both sides. For Israelis, I'm Palestinian. For Palestinian, all you black, you work in a settlement, you can do this and that and that and that. You're not getting an aid, and you're not refugees. So come on, people, where you want us to go? What you want us to do?
You had mentioned something about the fact that some of them even consider you, because, I mean, being black, they consider you as slaves.
Yeah, this is the way how we came over here. This is what they thought.
They came as slaves?
This is what they think. That we came from Africa as slaves to here. Okay, as Muslims, like, they have to go to Saudi Arabia first, and then many people, they used to do both, Saudi Arabia and Jerusalem. So many of our black people, they stayed and they didn't go back. And many of them, they've been here already. They've been here already. We talking about, I even have pictures and stuff. Like, but it's like thinking that we are slaves, and they always want to know the story and how come we end up over here. Boy,
This is super interesting because a lot of things were actually mentioned by my sister Amal in this conversation that we were having that people are not at all privy to or don't even know. But I'll start with the fact that they are regarded as outsiders. Majority of Afro-Palestinians, as she mentioned, are regarded as outsiders within the Palestinian community, and they look at them as rejects. Where did you all come from? Who are you? Why should we give you aid? Why should we assist you? You are not Palestinian. You're just black people. You came here as slaves. All of these slurs, all of this rejection from the Palestinian community that is trying to lobby the African American community and other African countries to support what they claim to be their cause fighting against others in Israel and in other places, but saying that, look, we need you all's assistance because we have some type of bond of brown and black people that we should be working together for a common cause. But it's not to work together for a common cause. It's to work or to exploit people of African ancestry wherever they are in the world, to get them to shy away from the things that are most important to them, what is in their best interest, and support everything that is in the best interest of Palestinians, of Arabs, of other people in this region until we don't need you anymore. At the same time, inflicting on people of African ancestry, like she was mentioning, in the West Bank area, Judea and Samaria, inflicting on them everything that they claim to be experiencing. Racism, discrimination, oppression, rejection, all of these things. This is exactly what they are inflicting on people of African ancestry called Afro-Palestinians. Just a few things let's go through. The fact that they're not even qualified to receive UN cards because they're not recognized as refugees. Now, from what I know, from 1949, the United Nations Relief and Works Association, UNRWA, identified everybody who resided in Israel or within the confines of what had become the state of Israel. Between 1946 and 1948, they are regarded as refugees. Even if they moved from one city within the confines to another city that's still within the confines, they're still recognized as refugees. Even if they didn't even leave the land, they just moved to a different place within the, they still are recognized as refugees. Under UNRWA, this is the Palestinian people are the only people who have hereditary refugee status all around the world. In Lebanon, in Syria, in Egypt, in Jordan, and wherever else they may be in the world, they are still recognized as refugees, and effectively they could be able to receive a refugee card to receive aid. The majority of these people have already assimilated into the societies that they're living in, have become part of the societies, but they're still recognized as refugees, and they still have the ability to receive a refugee card for aid and otherwise from the UN. But the Afro-Palestinians, you're trying to tell me, as she's mentioned here, don't qualify for that, don't receive aid because they're not recognized as refugees? Oh, really? Okay, in addition to that, because they are working in settlements around where they live and other places, they're saying you all are working along with the Israelis. You all are not part of us. We don't want. Now, mind you, of course, not everybody is working here in Israel or in settlements or in other places, but they are still looked upon as people that are not part of our milieu. So to say that somebody is applying Western lens to an area where it does not fit, it absolutely does fit. It absolutely does fit. Not only that, saying that these people are rejects trying to understand where they came from, saying that they came here as slaves, most people not even aware of their identity. When did they come here? How did they come here? But let's not forget that the majority of all of the people today who identify nationally as Palestinians are people who there are some people who had been here for a long period of time. There are some people who were forcibly converted to Islam. They were actually Israelites. But you also have the great majority of these people who had migrated here during two periods. During the Ottoman period, the 400 years of Ottoman rule here, and under the British. These people had migrated from nearby countries coming and looking for better economic opportunities. So these people were not native to this area either, but now they're looking and asking Afro-Palestinians who may have come here 600 years ago or 700 years ago or even before, where did you all come from? When majority of them just came around. But they're looking at these people as foreigners. Who are you all? Looking at them as slaves, as abid. I mean, let's not forget that this is how these anti-black lens are strong in the Arab community. And whether you recognize it or not, accept it or not, believe it or not, the people who identify nationally now, majority, as Palestinian, these are Arab peoples. Remember, I mean, they were saying that Israel, what is Israel now, was actually part and parcel of the Arab world. This is what they were saying in the 1930s and 1940s. They would say that the idea of being a Palestinian or the name Palestinian was actually a Zionist invention, as they say. Right? They said that there was no such thing as a Palestinian. They were part and parcel, as they said, of Syria. They were part and parcel of the Arab world, the greater Arab world. But Afro-Palestinians are not part of that. So I'm really trying to understand. I mean, but you want the assistance of people of African ancestry all over the world. You're claiming to be fighting the same fight. You're claiming to have things in common, but are inflicting on these people the same things that you're claiming to be experiencing, and then covering it up as if it doesn't exist, and then moving forward as if, and I'm not talking about everything in the Arab world and a lot of other countries of the Arab world as they call them. I'm talking specifically about the people in Gaza and then the area called Judea and Samaria, or the West Bank for some people. You would know about these experiences because they paint such a rosy picture as if they don't exist. Is there racism and discrimination against people of African ancestry in Israel? Absolutely. We speak about it often, all the time. We fight against it often, all the time. But you're going to say it doesn't exist on the other side of the line with the other people over there? They are clean from it? Come on now. Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? That's not even real. It's not even real. But that's why it was important to actually bring a voice from there to share the experiences of Afro-Palestinians, because most people don't even have the chance to speak to Afro-Palestinians there or in other places to be able to get their real view. Now, these people are experiencing racism and discrimination and rejection and oppression right there amongst the people who claim to be their brothers and sisters in struggle. Make that make sense to me, please. It does not. But this is the reality. And for some people of African ancestry, who some refer to as African Americans, to come to see for themselves, to experience for themselves, because obviously they have senses to be able to feel what's taking place around them. and to draw the conclusion that one, much of what we were told is definitely off the rails, it's not true. Two, we're experiencing what we expected to come and see being inflicted on these people. They are inflicting it on us. We're experiencing, they're acting in that way towards us, who were supposed to be their allies. So we have a problem with that. So we have something to say in that regard. But then you have people like Heba Talks, Heba Speaks, who's trying to paint this other picture of reality and to sell it to the world as if these people are delusional because they're sharing their experiences about what they saw when they were on the grounds, when they came as allies with the intention and the intent of becoming an ally with no prior knowledge, as she had mentioned before, but with an open desire to see and to experience and to feel. But then they left away with a totally bad taste in their mouth that was different, all the way different than what I guess Heba Speaks, Heba Talks, and her other comrades were expecting that they were going to experience when they came. That's my 2 cents. Thank you so much for continuing to follow. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave me a comment below, and I'll certainly see you in the next video. Until then, you have a great day.